You are welcome to tutorial 9. Tutorial 9 is what we are about to look into. The topic before us is types of force and friction. Types of force and friction is the topic before us. We have two main terms in that topic. I'd like to start with the first one, force. Let's know what is force before we go into the topic in detail. Force is the quantity that has the ability to pull, push, twist, or accelerate a body. The SI unit of force is Newton. I say the quantity which has the ability to pull, push, twist, or accelerate a body. That is what we call force. I say the SI unit again is Newton. Now we have friction also in our topic there. Friction is the force which acts in opposite direction to the motion of two objects in contact sliding over each other. The force which acts between two surfaces in contact of objects sliding over each other is what we call friction. Friction. Now, let's go back to the force. When we talk about force, we have two main types of force. Two main types of force. The number one is field force. Field force. Now, when we say field force, there are some objects that you make them to move without actually making contact with them. Now, I'd like us to take a look at something here. I have a magnet here. I have a magnet here. Let's see how we use light poles of magnet to make them move. Let's see how we use light pole of magnet to make them move. Now, watch. That magnet is moving without actual contact. You see that? You see that? Check this. The magnet is moving without actual contact. Now, you don't need to make contact between two bodies, in this case, in order to move the body. This type of force, we call it field force. Example or forms of field force are number one, magnetic force, the one we just demonstrated. Number two, gravitational force. Gravitational force. If I throw an object upward, the object will fall back. I throw an object upward, it will fall back. I hold an object, drop it from this point, it will fall down. Why? Because there is a force that pulls every object towards the center of the earth, and this force is called gravitational force. Now, the third one there is electric force. Electric force. Now, electric force also has the ability to apply its quantity to a particular object without actually making contact with it. I like us to know that electricity also behaves like magnet. That is why in due course we are going to study one topic in one of our tutorials that will be coming up. They call it electromagnetism. Electromagnetism. We'll throw more light when we come to that point. Now, let's quickly see the second type of force, which is contact force. Contact force. As the name implies, contact force is that force which is applied to a body when actual contact is made. For example, I want to push a table from one point to another. I place my hand on the table and I push the table. Or I want to pull the table from one point to another. I hold it and I pull. Now, this type of force, we call it contact force. That is why we have forms of contact force as pull, push. They are here. Pull, push, twist, viscosity, and friction in this case. Friction. Now, remember we talk about friction, that's why friction is in the main topic we are dealing with. For you to twist an object, you need to make contact with it. For you to push, you need to make contact. For you to pull, you need to make contact. Now, we are going to deal with viscosity when we come to that topic because it's a subtopic on its own. We'll deal with that later. Now, let's see the reason why we are studying types of force and friction. In this case, friction in particular. Why are we studying it? That is why we have advantages of friction. Advantages of friction. And number one, we say it aids walking. It aids walking. I'm able to walk into this laboratory because there is friction. Without friction, you can't move from one place to another. And that is why if you watch the sole of your shoe, you discover that it's rough. Why? In order to increase friction, thereby applying grip to any surface you step on. Now, even natural is in place. Take a look at your palm. You discover that it's not smooth. You have lines there, so you can grip things very well. When you hold anything, the grip will be firm. Now, if you look at the sole of your feet, you discover that it is not smooth. It's as a result of that. So even God is aware of it during creation. Now, let's see number two. It aids sharpening of tools. Now you have a knife. By the time this knife is blunt, you feel like you want to sharpen this knife. You look for any cement surface that is rough and you go there to sharpen your knife. Why do you do that? Because there is friction there. It's very unfortunate. Some people do this, but they don't even know why they are doing it. They only know that is where they have the good impact of sharpening after finishing their sharpening. So physics is what you apply even without knowing it. Now, let's see the number three. The number three says, it aids gripping of belt. It aids gripping of belt in grinding machine. Now, grinding machine has two pulleys. You see one big pulley, the other pulley close to the engine itself. And belts need to be laid on them. Without friction, this belt can't stay there. As a matter of fact, when you use your belt for some time, you discover that you put on your grinding machine, it will be slipping off. It will be slipping off. If you check some of our belts that they use today, there is a cut at a regular interval in that point where it's laid on the pulley. Why? To increase this grip due to friction. Then, finally, number four, it brings vehicles to rest when brakes are applied. When the brake of a car is applied, they come to rest. Why? Because there is friction. If you check the vehicle tire we are talking about, is not smooth, it's rough. Even the road on which they applied is not smooth. This is to increase friction. Now, we just finished the advantages of friction. Let's quickly see disadvantages of friction. Disadvantages of friction. Number one, we say it causes wearing and tearing. It causes wear and tear. Now, some parts of machine, after some time, you will need to change this part as a result of wearing and tearing. That is why we say it's a disadvantage, because it has negative effect to the user of this machine we're talking about. Now, point number two, advantages of friction is that it causes heat. Now, I'd like you to place your two palms together, the palms of your hand together, and just rub it together for like 1 minute. What do you feel? If you do that, you get the right answer. Now, it causes heat. Number three, it reduces the efficiency of machine. The efficiency of machine, the output ability of a machine is reduced by friction. Why? Friction needs to be overcome before parts of the machine will move. So some part of the input power is used to overcome friction, and this friction also leads to heat, like we just see on the board. Now, I would like us to go straight to the next point. Because we have disadvantages of friction, how do we reduce friction? That is why we have ways of reducing friction. Ways of reducing friction. Number one, by lubrication. You lubricate using what? Powder, oil, grease. You apply grease to this moving point in order to slightly reduce their friction, but not completely, because if you reduce it completely, there will be no movement. Now, we say powder. You use oil, grease. For the same people, we say powder. Some people may be wondering, how do you use powder to reduce friction? For the girls, during the dry season or the harmattan period, you discover that your skirt will be sticking to your thighs. It is simple to overcome that. You just use powder to rub on your thighs. After doing that, put on your skirt. There will be free movement, no more sticking of your skirt to your thighs. Now, point number two, ways of reducing friction by using ball bearings and rollers. Now remember, I talked about two pulleys on the grinding machine. If you check the middle of that pulley, you see ball bearings there. I'm giving you an assignment to do that. Go and check machine, working machine. That middle of the pulley, you see bearings there. Bearings, small spherical metallic object. They are arranged in a circular form inside a particular house. It is being made for that purpose. Why? In order to reduce friction. Now we'll talk about rollers, because we say ball bearing / rollers. When we talk about rollers, some people will wonder, how do you use roller to reduce friction? In the construction of bridge, one point is fixed and the other point is allowed to move freely. That freely moving point, they are on a rollers. They are on a rollers. In case of expansion, it's possible for the moving point to roll on the rollers, and then when it contracts, it will roll back. So expansion, it will roll forward. Contraction, it will roll backward. This is to reduce friction. Assuming they just place the moving part on a bare cement surface, the rolling may not be possible, which may damage the bridge at the end of the day. Now, let's see point number three, by streamlining. By streamlining. So you reduce friction by streamlining. You streamline to reduce friction. When we say streamlining, making surface in a sharp or pointed form such that friction will not act on it very well. Now, the point number four, which is the last point here, is by smoothing. By smoothing. When you smooth a surface, friction is reduced. Now just think about piston moving up and down in a cylinder. If the outer surface of the piston is rough, there will not be free movement through the cylinder. It has to be smooth for it to move, even if there will be lubricant there. Now, that is it, and that is all for types of force and friction. I would like to give us assignment. You go and check this one. Go and check. Go and check. I may not solve it for you. I expect you to do more work. Remember, your tutor or teacher or lecturer cannot give you 100% in delivery. You must do your own work for you to be outstanding. For you to be outstanding. You know, extraordinary people is because of the extra work they do. So I like you, after doing this, go and search for question, try to solve. You'll be exposed to other parts again. Now, I promise that I will solve one question for us, talking about the assignment given in tutorial 8. Let's quickly do that as we round up. In tutorial 8, let's quickly do that. Let's quickly do that. Now, the assignment question in tutorial 8 reads, a simple pendulum has a period of 17.0 seconds, full stop. That is T1, period 1, 17.0 seconds. Full stop. You see, when the length is shortened by 1.5, when the length is shortened by 1.5, which means we'll have one other length here, which we don't know. When they shorten this length by 1.5, its period is 8.5. So the period here, P2, is 8.5 seconds. When L2 is L1 minus 1.5. Now they say, calculate the original length of the pendulum. Calculate the original length of the pendulum. Now we need to find L1. What is L1 in this equation? Remember, I gave us this equation we want to use in tutorial 8. We'll have period 1 square all over L1 is equals to period 2 square all over L2. Now, if I substitute my values, if I substitute the values I have, my T1 is 17.0 seconds. I'll leave the units. When I finish, I fix my unit. Because T1 has square, I put all square here, all over, the L1 is L1. My T2 is 8.5 all square. All over. My L2 is L1 minus 1.5. Now, in order for me, what I need to do here is to make L1 subject of the formula, and that is what they ask in the question. Now, I have 17.0 all square times L1. I have 17.0 all square L1 minus 17.0 all square times 1.5. 17.0 all square times 1.5 equals to, now L1 times 8.5 all square. I have 8.5 all square multiplied by L1. And what I'm looking for is L1. So I'm taking this value to the other side, 17.0 all square times 1.5 to the other side. And I'm bringing 8.5 all square times L1 to this other side, so I can make L1 subject formula. What I'm doing, I'm collecting like terms. That is why I always tell students, in physics, mathematics is the driver. If you are not a lover of mathematics, in physics, mathematics is the driver. If you are not a lover of mathematics in this vehicle of physics, accident is inevitable. Just try and love mathematics a little and you will flow in physics. Now let's see that. We have 17.0 all square L1 is equals minus, I'm bringing this to this other side, minus 8.5 all square L1 is equals to 17.0 all square. I'm taking 17.0 all square 0.5 times 0.1.5 times 1.5 to the other side. So I have to be multiplying itself 1.5. Now I need L1. What I need to do mathematically here, I need to factorize L1 out. So L1 into 17.0 all square minus 8.5 all square is equals to, I'll close my bracket, compound bracket, is equals to 17.0 all square times 1.5. Because I need L1, I'll need to divide both sides by 17.0 all square minus 8.5 all square. 17.0 all square minus 8.5 all square. What I do to the left hand side in mathematics, I need to do to the right hand side. So I have 17.0 all square minus 8.5 all square. Now, 17.0 all square minus 8.5 all square will cancel 17.0 all square minus 8.5 all square, which means my L1 becomes, my L1 now becomes 17.0 all square times 1.5 all over 17.0 all square minus 8.5 all square. If you do this, you have approximately 2 meters, which is your final answer. You have approximately 2 meters. Ideally, you have 1.545 meters. 1.545 meters. 1.545 meters. So approximately, you have 2 meters. Thank you very much. I'd like to leave us with this assignment. I'd like to leave us with this assignment. Remember, if we don't test you, we won't know if you are following or not. But this assignment I want to give us, I'd like you to go and do extra work in order to do it. It's simple. Go and do some extra work. The assignment reads, an object of mass 15 kg, that is 15 kilogram, is at rest. It's at the point of sliding down. Okay, let's get this. An object of mass 15 kg is at the point of sliding down a plane inclined at 36 degrees to the horizontal. Find the least force parallel to the plane required to make the object to begin to move up the plane. I take it finally again. An object of mass 15 kilogram is at the point of sliding down a plane inclined at 36 degrees to the horizontal. Full stop. Find the least force parallel to the plane required to make the object to begin to move up the plane. Now, take G, that is acceleration due to gravity, as 10 meters per second square. Now, some other assignments alongside I would like you to do is that, remember, we made mention of friction. What are the 2 types of friction? I allow those ones to be particularly for this time, so I will ask, what are the 2 types of friction? Now, what is the difference between these 2 types of friction? Thank you very much as we move straight forward to tutorial 10. I don't know, you may be saying, how do I reach this guy? How do I reach this guy? It's possible. You can reach us at jeromeonuche@gmail, at yahoo.com. Now, let's take a look at this before I rub it off. Let's take a look at this before I rub it off. Take a look at that before I rub it off. I say you can reach us through our email, Jerome Onuche at yahoo.com. Jerome Onuche at yahoo.com. Jerome Onuche at yahoo.com. Jerome Onuche at yahoo.com. Now, what is our contact? You can reach us +234 0706 555 4204. You can reach us on this number. You can reach us on that number, that email, and everything will be all right.